Okay, before I begin, I want to thank everyone for coming. This industry, I'm quite new to it. I came from another industry. I'll speak about it as we go. But I want to say that this industry, from what I've learned, is so very complicated and big. And the process of making a game itself is so complicated, long, that we could sit down, have beers, and talk about it for weeks and weeks. Unfortunately, I just have 20 minutes. So if you don't mind, I'm going to jump straight into the PowerPoint introduction and into the series. It is not totally linear. As the process of creativity itself is very dynamic, this speak is not totally linear, but eventually I hope we will get into the point of 5 key fun indicators. Okay, so before we continue, I want to kind of locate us. Why am I here? Why are you here? And I think the people from Casual Connect have supplied us a very clear answer to that when we just look at their logo. We are all coming to participate in a network. A network is a different group of individuals, individual agents. Shall they be developers? Shall they be ad networks? Shall they be promoters or whatever? But we game together, and as in the logo, we create one bigger community. What is it that we do in a network? Well, the first thing that comes to mind is that we share. And that is a part of the conferences. We connect and we share. What do we share? Well, we share information. And that is why I am here, to share information. And you are here to perceive information. The information that everyone is looking for is how can we make a bulletproof, perfect, successful app game. Unfortunately, I do not have that information. I do not have that recipe. But if you go around to many conferences, listen to many speeches, look at many games and talk and participate in this network, both as transmitters and as receivers, you will treat information the only way it shall be treated, gathering, selecting, categorizing, and mixing. And eventually, if you do this enough, you may be able to synthesize some reasonable idea of how to make a game. I came from the e-commerce industry. Before I became a game developer, I sell football tickets and football packages online. And my theory is that a lot of the insights that I got from the e-commerce industry, I can bring to the gaming industry. The basic one of this is that you have to get a lot of traffic, get a lot of users, get them involved, get them to come to your product, to come to your platform, come to your game, and only after that, worry about the monetization. Give people a reason to come, and then think about the business. But you have to create traffic. That's why it is called traffic. People come, go by, come, go, they come, they have a look. Some will stay more, some will stay for a short time, but eventually you need a lot of them, and eventually some of them will buy what you are offering them to say. So we came from NAFNA tourist development to NAFNA tenacious creativity. When I decided that I want to make games, it was kind of an instant moment. I had a friend over for dinner. He had a new mobile smartphone, and he just let me play with it. I played Ninja Jump from Blackfip Studios. So first of all, if their CEO is here, thank you very much. And I decided this is so cool. It's mobile, it's small, I take it with me everywhere. It's technology, it's art, it's fun, it's all I could dream of. as a person that wants to mix business, creativity, and technology. It was perfect. So I went to bed, I'm gonna be a game designer, I'm gonna make games, it's gonna be so cool. But when you wake up in the morning, you face so many dilemmas, so many questions. As I mentioned before, it's so complicated, and you have loads of questions. But chilling out a bit, it breaks down eventually to two very simple questions that you have to ask yourself. You want to ask yourself, what kind of game do I want to make? I want to make games, but what kind of games? You all know there are many kinds of games. And the second question is how to make it. In this chat, I will address mainly the question of what game to make. Okay? When I think of what game to make, I have to take in consideration different elements. The basic ones of them are I want to make games that I love, games that I play. And the reason for this is very simple. If you want to make a quality product, you have to control all the basic elements. Just knowing, okay, this creature runs around and collects coins is not enough. You have to understand the mechanics, you have to understand the reasoning, you have to understand the cycles. And you can do this with only if dedication and observation. And it's much easier to observe something you feel passionate about and that you love. Another thing I want to take in consideration is I want to make games that we can. And this I'm talking about technical. Everyone has his right to how he likes game or what he doesn't like in games. But coming into this industry, I had one thing clear. I hated, and there's nothing that I don't want at all, is my games to crash. Game could be good, a game could be bad. People may like it, people may not like it. That's the way life is. There are so many users. But a game must be totally functional. You must be able to perform. In the industry, you want to grow, you want to make partnerships. No one is stupid here. Everyone knows that a two-person studio cannot make a big, expensive strategic game, but they do judge you not on what you can make, but they judge you on what you make. So do what you can, but do it very good. But saying that, we also somewhere here have in our mind always that we want to make good games. We want to make games that have success. When you're 6 years old and you want to be a football player, everyone dreams of scoring the goal in the World Mundial finals. No one dreams of being a secondary player in the second division. So that's the truth, that's the way it is. So obviously it goes through your heads. So after we have these three things in mind, we wanted to go out to the marketplace and we wanted to understand what games we can make, what games are good. But we also wanted to have, and this is again the point of having a game that is totally functional. This is one of my, Ian McEwan is a writer that I admire. I love all of his books. Amsterdam, this one is Saturday. He talks about mental health. One of the things he says about mental health is your ability to distinguish a dream and reality. Realistic is, as you say, having or showing a sensible and practical idea of what can be achieved or expected. So we have all these dreams. We have the games we love. We want to be very successful, but we have to balance them with the games we can. We have to be realistic. With these insights and understanding, we went to the app stores. Now, many games, many applications. I want to narrow it all down. If you look at the App Store and App Annie is the good place to look at the charts, there are 24 or 25 different categories for applications, and there are 18 and 19 parallelly subcategories of games. And that's, wow, what game are we going to make? We have 19 genres to decide from. So let's just go look at the top games, at the top grossing games. So we looked at these, and the ones in green are the ones that have more than one game. Actually, since I did the chat, it changed radically. Some of these already have 3 or 4. And I looked at these games. I wanted to see what are the top grossing games. And the conclusion is that today, the top grossing apps are games that are made by mega companies. Mega companies that have a lot of experience, that have a lot of talent, that have a lot of money. But more than everything, and this is what I think is the key point, indie developer does not lack on money. Ask everyone downstairs, even the rich people lack on money. Everyone would be happy with more money. The main problem of an indie developer, in my point of view, is the lack on insight on user behavior and data analysis to design perfect games. Because if I make a game with green buttons, and then I want to see if with red buttons, or if I want round icons or square icons, all this is time consumption and money consumption, and unfortunately at the moment I cannot pay for it. I'm not saying under any circumstances. It will be lovely to know everything about the user behavior. It's brilliant, it's great, but unfortunately, if you haven't had any games before, or you just had one game for children that was downloaded 3,000 times, it will be very, very difficult to come to accurate conclusions. This is something that indie developers must deal with, but until they deal with, they have to find another road. Another road is the market is the way it is. Free-to-play requires a lot of tweaking, a lot of analyzing, just all the way to the extreme. There is the casual $1 game. And they probably thought ahead to write on the $1 bill, "In God we trust." So these are the two extremes. One is just launch a game for, build it, launch it for $1 and pray to God. The other one is having extreme analytics and understanding of the process. The way of reality is that usually it's somewhere in the middle way, and there is a way to combine the two extreme models. And the way that I thought of how to combine, or what is the solution for this dilemma. On one side, I want to analyze, I want to build metric design games, but I cannot. But I don't want to just launch a game, just build it over a black screen and launch it. So I had to think of what I will put in it that will make it happen. I addressed earlier in my career, I addressed a investor. I said, "Hey, I have a cool game. Do you want to invest in it?" He didn't ask me about what is the game about, what is the genre, nothing. He asked me, what are your key PIs, key performance indicators? They are very important, but I just didn't have them. So that brought me to think of the concept of key FI, key fun indicators. I spent a lot of time reading blogs, reading magazines, psychology, marketing, not just gaming, because eventually human behavior is parallel in all of the industries. So I read a lot, and this is a kind of a summary. There may be more points that are very important, and maybe some of you find these are not. But I think these are very, very good base to give you structure. When you build this game, you want these things in your game, and now we'll see how you put these psychological factors and needs into your game. Rules, structure and repetition, objectives and feedback, the compulsion loop, the challenge everyone, I don't know what it's called, but everyone knows it when you're like, I'm just almost about there, and the intense flow. So let's look at structures and repetition. Structure is answering the question to the user, what is gonna go on? People are afraid, they don't feel comfortable in not knowing what is going on. They don't like walking into a dark room in general. There's always exceptions, but people like to understand what will be going on. Today I will be talking about this. Today we will see this movie. They want to feel, they feel comfortable when they know what is going to happen. So how do we give structures? We give a very comprehensive, a very detailed tutorial. In a tutorial, I don't just mean rule 1, rule 2, rule 3, rule 4. You have to accompany the player through. Always, because many people speak different languages. I can't write a textual tutorial in 56 languages. So you have to take them by the hand and walk them through. But the other thing is they have to understand that the rules that occur now will occur when they come back to play tomorrow, or when they will try a session afternoon, or when they call their friend and say, hey, this game is cool, you go / whatever, and the friend has to capture. You have to have this structure. It makes people feel comfortable, and if they're comfortable, they can feel joy. Objectives and feedback. The objective is very comfortable to put in the tutorial, but I've seen games that don't have it. It is so easy to say, hello guys, welcome. This is a first-person shooter. You have to shoot everyone. You just make it clear. It takes no time. It text, an image or whatever, but it has to be very clear what is going to happen, how it's going to happen, but why I am here. What is my objective? And also you want to make people good. People like feeling good. Hi, good morning, how are you? You look great. Didn't that make you feel good? Well, that's what people want to feel. So you have to be generous, and you have to give them rewards every time they make a good action. You can also give them punishment when they make a mistake, but that's not enough. You'll have to balance at the end of the day, but please be generous. If someone just finished level 625, give him virtual 200 coins, give him a screenshot, give him something, make him happy. Recognize his effort. You made a lot of effort for him. Now it's time to you to recognize his effort as well. Okay, this is just a screenshot regarding the two issues I've talked before. Be very meticulous. Show what's going on. Let the people understand the stage. Let them understand the interface, and let them understand the game and the objectives. The compulsion loop. We saw before a list of top-grossing games. Today it's different. Many of the games on the most grossing apps on the web, but also on the app market, Android and iPhone, are gambling games, slot machine games, and they all work on one very basic, simple element: win a relic. We are not very cold-minded. We want to think like that. We want to work like that. But we are ego-driven as human beings, as users, and in our base, we all want to be very optimistic. Everyone wants to wait that one day the mighty God of good luck will come and strike him on the head. As long as you keep a user with the potential of being very happy, he will come back. Because some people do not drive on the success, but they drive on the potential of being successful. So win a relic. It is many games have, even if they're arcade games, if they have little slot machines, little fortune wheels, you have to touch a card to choose your coins. Let people the opportunity to feel lucky. Let them feel that the gods are looking upon them. Let them feel that maybe today not, but if they come and play again tomorrow, tomorrow will definitely be their day. Like we decide, give them a gift. Sometimes the gift will be nothing. And if it's nothing, they'll be disappointed. But they will try again because they know that maybe tomorrow it won't be nothing, but it will be something very, very, very nice. And the last two things are the art challenge, that feeling that, hey, I almost got it. Not pushing just to the limits of our capability without passing it. And getting to that moment that basketball players or sports people call the flow or the zone. That is a moment when your capabilities and your actions come into perfect harmony, and you just keep on. Every time you shoot, you hit. Every time you jump, you make it perfectly. You're in your moment. Everything is good. How do you give this? Well, I quote Seth Godin, which is a marketing master, an endless series of difficult but achievable hills. That's the idea. But how do we make it? And there is only one way to make it. Make a game with variables. Know that you could change the density of the elements. You can change the height of the things to jump upon. You can change the distance between the platforms. All the variables of your game structure and gameplay have to be easy to control, easy to manipulate, and then you just have to test, 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 test. In our team, every few weeks, we have a barbecue. We go to a house where the programmer lives. We invite loads of people, and if they want to play, if they want to eat and drink, well, they have to play. And then they play, and then we investigate them. If I was a huge studio, I would hire a big pub in New York and say, hey, tomorrow, 5,000 people, we're sorting out iPads and flies to Hawaii. Please come and play. And at the end of the game, we'll let you fill a form. I can't do that. Testing, testing, testing is the developer friends, my wife, her friends, family, and hopefully now after I'm in this community, after I'm fighting to struggle to get into this network, some of you may be testers. But test, 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 and make good games, make them fun, connect with your user, and just go for it, and good luck. And basically, that is it. I don't know if I gave anything extreme, but go home, think about it, let the things submerge in your mind with all the other information you have, and I hope very much you can take a few value or at least one important insight from this chat. Thank you very much. And if there are any questions, I'll